Welcome to the Acrylic Mini Class. We're going to start out with a clear scrap 6x6 tab album. And you're going to take the first page because we're going to make the cover first. And you're going to remove the protective film from the cover. And we're going to use Sailboat Blue alcohol ink. And we're going to pour it on there and use a dauber or a cotton ball to spread it all around. And here's where we're going to start and do our resist stamping. This is a technique. You're going to use a nice flourish stamp and use any water-based ink you want. It doesn't matter what color. You can see I'm using brown, which doesn't match at all, but that doesn't matter. And you're going to reapply your ink every time you make an impression on acrylic. You're going to apply it to all four sides of the cover, and then you're going to wipe it away with the paper towel. And you can see it leaves a perfectly clear image, so that's what we call resist stamping. Or resist inking. Make sure it is a water-based ink because you're using alcohol ink on there already, so you want to use a water-based ink to get the clear impression. Since it is alcohol ink, you should be able to wipe it away with a little water if you have trouble getting it off at all, but you shouldn't need to. Next, we're going to take our Spellbinders dies, and I'm using these scalloped circles, and you're going to use a pink, dark pink, blue, and light blue paper, all spring colors or whatever you want, and we're going to, I use cut cardstock, I like their cardstock. You're going to put your base plate down, then your die, then your paper, then your upper plate, and you're going to cut out around 8 of them. I use different colors because I want to use them for the whole album. And then you're going to adhere them both to the front cover just like this. I used my Xyron adhesive for that. Next, you're going to use liquid pearls and put pearl dots all around the front edges. And then you're going to set that aside to dry for 20 minutes while we work on something else. So the next part is you're going to take the leftover scraps from your hot pink and light pink paper, and you're going to cut them into approximately 3-inch squares, and it doesn't need to be exact. I'm sure you've all made spiral flowers before, but once you get the squares, you're going to cut them into circle. And then you're just going to take your scissors and cut a wonky spiral all the way in. And then we're going to make our spiral flowers. And you can do this by taking either a quilling tool or tweezers that lock. And you start on the outer edge and you swirl it all the way in. And then you use hot glue on the bottom and dab it and just put your flowers together. I really recommend using a finger cover for this because I burn my fingers every single time. Next, we're going to put the little paper yellow flowers inside. These were just cheap little dollar store flowers I put in there, but I liked them because they were springy. You want to make sure you have at least 4 hot pink and 2 light pink for that. After that, we're going to wrap a 1.5-inch ribbon around it, and we're going to adhere it on and then put a big bow on the front. You know, I hot glue these bows on, and I just use regular ribbon adhesive for the ribbon. Next, you're going to hot glue the flowers. Now, use a tiny dab because you don't want it to show on the back, but you're going to hot glue the flowers on the front, and then you're going to turn it around and put another scallop circle on the back. And then you're going to place 2 large buttons with twine in the center in the first page. This album will definitely use up your buttons, so pull them all out. Next, we're going to put the title on there, which I just used some alphabet and put Our Memories on there, but you can, of course, title it whatever you want. And then I put 2 buttons, I hot glued them onto the front to just kind of fill that empty space there. Now that we're done with the cover, we're going to set it aside, and we're going to take the first page, and we're going to peel off the top protective cover and use StazOn to stamp the same flourish stamp on each one of the pages, except for the back one. So you're going to stamp each side of the pages and just leave the back one. Now we're going to place our circles throughout the pages. Now, if you look at the photos, I have detailed photos of each page. Oh, and don't forget, every time you stamp with StazOn on acrylic, you have to re-ink the stamp for each impression. Every time on acrylic, you have to re-ink each time. I'm actually going to add a photo of each page so you can kind of go over them to see where the scallop circles are applied and which color they're arranged in. Here's page 1 and the back of the cover and number 2. You can see the buttons are on the bottom and the ribbon around. Page number 2 has the lace and it's sticking out, and I actually stapled it and then I put button over it. This is page 3 and 4. the inside with the pink and the blue. And then on this one we have the blue circles as well as scallop circles. And here's the last page with the blue on the background. It's got the pink and the blue and then the pink on the very back as well. Now on the second page we're going to wrap lace around and staple it, and I used my Teresa Collins Xyron attacher for that. And then to cover up the staples I took a button, a wooden button, I tied twine in it and I hot glued it over it. And I have the blue circle, scallop circle in there as well. On the next page I put ombre ribbon around. I put another button, which I put flowers in, and I added some pink pearls to that. And I just attached everything with hot glue. And what you can do is pause and go back and look at each page, and that'll be the easiest way to reference. And on this one, I put the ribbon up and down instead because I wanted the ribbon sticking out all sides of it. And then I added, now for this one was fun, I just took hot glue in a random pattern, I put the pearls on, did the same thing with the buttons and the twine so it made it look like it was falling there, and then I took hot glue and glass beads and I just made a pattern with the hot glue and it kind of looks like a seashell. Now for the last page, I alcohol inked the entire page after I peeled off the cover. I added ribbon and then a big flower and then a button, and then I flipped it over and added my scallop circles again. And then all the pages were done and you can see everything sticks out. And the last thing I did was I tied it together with that same ribbon. So my suggestion to you is to go back over, look at each individual page, and there's plenty of photos so you can do that, and then you'll know exactly what to create. And I'm going to add the photos at the end here again so you can pause on each one and see where everything was placed. But the only other techniques I used in the album was just the alcohol ink on the back and then making sure that every single page had some buttons and ribbon on it, because you know you can't get too technical because you want to be able to put the photos on, so you don't want a lot of other things distracting from all the photos. But now it's ready for all our photos and it's a beautiful album.